Ladies and gentlemen, which is from very own Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen. So he was trained in Lim Kok Wing University and also Curtin University. After working with renowned designers, he has picked up the best practices and also the best form of management, and he incorporated and he founded his very own practice 16 years ago in 2008. Swofinty perceives interior design as an art of making and a life journey of full discovery. He is both pragmatic and imaginative, combining imagination and logic to produce value-driven design spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite interior designer Swofinty Yik from Malaysia.
Good day, everyone. It's my pleasure for me to speak here today. Matthew Lim and our MIID team behind the scene. Likewise to all the amazing speakers, I hope every one of you enjoy your stay here in Malaysia. Right. I can see a couple of few friends here, associates as well. So everyone present here today, I really appreciate it. So please give the organizer and yourself a big round of applause, shall we? Okay. I am Swofinty Yik of Swofinty Design. Basically, my studio is my name. I'm sure some of you didn't know that I'm a Chinese Cantonese because of my name. On a serious note, briefly about us, Swofinty Design is a research and design, interior design practice. So what do? We do all sorts of things, like many others. And let's begin, shall we? Playing outside. Okay. This is a little monkey me. How I grew up as a child, later being curiously naughty, equally important. Because I have a different set of focus, which is I'm looking at a very optimistic person. Secondly, I'm pretty diversified and stay curious and continue to search for something new. As a child, I got to travel and stay in various cities due to the nature of my dad's work. I spent most of my times outside and in love with the borderless. So same time, literally I experienced the sort of cultures and natures and built environments surrounding me, making me feel very connected to outside. Where I was born in Kuantan, two of my favorites are Teluk Cempedak and Cerating Beach along the east coastlines of Malaysia. I love the exchanging dialogues between the land and waves, the sound of nature, the breeze caressing my skin, and the estuaries that form and eventually builds the community that brings them together. Until today, I still return. Here in Teluk Cempedak, I see endless dialogues between nature, of void and solid. And Cerating, I see the leaf formations frame the view, and the layered the story itself, so forming a very, very nice presentations. Okay, from Kuantan, we moved to Penang. So I only remember I cry a lot, so let's move on. For visitors and Melaccas, for visitors, Georgetown Malacca was actually honored as a Malaysian UNESCO World Heritage Site, so do pay a visit if you plan to extend your stay, yeah? Okay, from north to west, which is Ipoh, when I skipped school, I'll be very honest because it's already a couple of decades ago. So I hang out here at the former Yao Texin market on Hilo Street, which is in Cantonese, we call it Pakot Lau. I think some of you from Ipoh here, anyone? Yes, hey, yep, hi guys. Okay, so what this building tried to tell me is basically I learned to understand about the trade and flow, modernism, brutalisms, radio organizations to promote the kind of continuations and connections. Naturally ventilated is lightness as well. So, however, shame that it has gone now. Swofinty, yep. Okay, in the late 90s, it was my lifetime opportunity when I met my two mentors. When I was beginning to find out about myself, I grew up in an interior architectural design contemporary language. It's about softness in design and also line cutting through organics or vice versa. So similar to in a classical or architectural order, however, in the present context. So the result here is about clarity. It's the same time to enhance my focus in life as well. Obviously, on the other hand, my childhood and presence, the many colors of Malaysian have a huge influence on me. Until now, it still does. So this is my weekend thing. This is my weekdays thing, okay? So weekend are pretty colorful though, all right? So I move on with that. So it's, okay, begin from our home, likewise our studio. Openness, I see as all one entity. It's about a series of dialogues and relationships that we're building here. So we encourage voices to be heard at the same time because design isn't about me alone. So I love space where the eyes travel freely. So that was probably the start of my philosophy. As a designer to design, I would like to build these contemporary cultures through spaces. The other experiencing, the subject which I'm going to share today. Our minds is beautiful, yes, indeed, because it is an art. So every experience is a lesson to me. By experiencing them, it makes me feel pretty happy somehow. So it's instruments of my inspirations, and likewise, I love documenting all dialogues in context. So the exercise here is collectively creates relationship. What I see is experiences that for human, at the same time inhibiting them in a contemporary manner, so which I desire most. Inspirations, okay. Developing an idea indeed has always been an kind of like agonizing process. So what I see is when my solution is I will go out into nature or an urban area. I just wander, I walk, or I cycle through. So the process begins with the questions always, which is a dialogue to understand a specific content. So these are the art to my eyes, sort of like same time the music's to my ears. So in most scenario, right, when I get out, I have my concepts, I have my ideas, pretty simple. And what fascinates me most is often the questions is the answer itself. An example, this is a piece of art that I went in Taipei, Taichung. So art became inspired by the process. So I learned to understand the manipulations and development of design in relation to humans' requirements of refuge. So same time, it's a comfort we're looking at and also very functional spaces. The process is relevant to designer, in my opinion, because it is require a fair amount of understanding and discipline. However, it is also poetic and artistic. This is an example of one of our design for Inspidia. It's a 2D animation studio. This red rib underground flexible conduit actually caught my attention during an ongoing road works. So as an alternative manipulations of thought, I developed this earthworm idea, serving the lobby that was made out of it. Our clients were so happy. Buy one, free four. This is a design outcomes which is feasible. We're looking at a piece of furniture as an art piece, as a luminaire, at the same time as an identity of the brand itself. Dialogue with the context. Okay, with the inspiration in mind, and one of the things that I think this is really important is our connections to clearly define context is through dialogues. So this is a relationship we should build and design. Okay, guys, please pay attention to the interior, especially ladies. Pretty advanced human apps, that's why this slide came in the picture. So pretty advanced human apps marketing tool always works. Whenever I have a chance, I would like to focus at one point, as I always been remind myself to get my priority right. Through a system of recording images, recording places, I love taking notes, as pretty sort of clearly and defined. Quality dialogue is a form of imaginations. So I see critical conversations, observations, argument, interchange, and they are all equally important to me. So for your info, I love to drink tea, that's why I'm here. And just to share with you, I'm not related, and this is Taipei, one of the oldest business and retail wholesale. I think Hua Thai Tea, I think now it's 131 years old by now. Okay. When we encourage a dialogue, we will understand the moment. The moment we understand, we will care about it and loves it. So the things is, the key most proposed inspirational is through automatically become clear in my mind. And through reasons, it tells me, and it corresponds with the context itself. There are 3 types of context. Number 1, clients. Okay, every project begins with a client. Our role is to understand their sensible thought, solve problems, and draws moments that are relevant to the brief. An example of our brewery projects here, which is the restaurants and bar, are pockets of spaces that showcase various types of garage. So in here, one of the decisions made out of discussions regarding visual impact. We presented an idea and convinced our client that we needed an automobile as our ceiling design. So in the flesh, the client responded and said, let's get one. Right. So here we have an AKA Mustang featured wannabe. Hope there's no Ford manufacturer here. And but what we need to do is to learn and basically to understand all risk, aspects, and aesthetics and potentials in the relations of the design. So the result here is one of the strategy for how we channel our thoughts following an agreement. So this is a notions of how we actually interact with our client. What we believe in, if you can't imagine, do something out of it. Number 2, build environment. It is about our sensitivity and articulations. This is Fondazione Prada, Milan designed by Omar and Bram Koolhaas. As a result of transformations, this distillery dating back in the 1910 is articulated by an architectural configuration, so which combine a pre-existing building, as you can see here, likewise together with the new tree structure named Podium, Cinema, and Torre. And the hallmark of the new venue is so-called the Haunted House, a 4-story building clad in 24-karat gold foil. When I took this photo, I see a thoughtful approach where it composed of an actual substance that in the design dialogues between the past and present, they're about to appear to kiss each other, but however, never happens. Number 3, natural. Natural is in our design and perceptions. Natural forms such as geologicals and natures have a very close relationship with the built environment. Life forms and the other natural environments are so amazing. It's about how we adapt, so which is something that we should embrace because it matters in our design. This restaurant we designed, and they're specialized in kway teow, so sun, 3 up, hill down, in Jiading, Shanghai. So this site is located adjacent to the mall. Entrance partly exposed to the outdoor. Indirectly, we actually experience the 4 distinct seasons. So I would like you to pay attention to the facade discrete vertical frames here, the one that you can see. Right, they may seem not important, but they're integrated with a clear clarity. At the same time, however, they provide a form of flexibility and adapt to the season in Shanghai. So during winter, they were closed to provide shelter and maintain a comfort while visuals and connections are pretty intact. Here we learned that something simple could be the most significant things in life. In our perceptions, this is quality. In this restaurant, someone asked us about why do you have rings and plates? Yeah, this is actually not rings and plates. Because in Jiading district has a very unique master plan. It's about the city of radio organizations. So where the old towns is surrounded by the Jiading River Ring, they inspire our design is where all the rings are and plates came into picture. Quality. Quality of projects is measured from the quality of our dialogues, as explained earlier. All our projects are like little laboratories, which is the idea is how we make lives better and eventually exciting. How we exploit each development's materials, structures, innovation, and again, it's all we explore the new contemporary language. So we have here is one of the restaurant, Irawan. It's about the quality dialogues between the chef and guests. We have Quivo, quality dialogues between the essence and identity of the Mediterranean. We have Sarai. Sarai is the untangled dialogues, the layered and mannered and light. And we have Plan Bs. There's the dialogues between the cross-organization and industrial outposts. Bouillon en Far, dialogues between 2 cultures, Malaysians and French. The garden's more dialogues between art and reality. Okay. The following projects I'd like to share with you are in various scales, exquisite detail, diverse criteria, complex, and in different typology. So somewhat unique in their own character, was developed through experience that we experienced along the way. So our projects is not normal to some because we often don't play the songs that people like. So, tap rooms. Okay, the idea is about your happiness is served from taps. So when I recall meeting Casey for the first time in Phuket, he is in white, rather always in white top, with a hand carry, a duffel bags. It never was about the look, however, it is the image statement, what's in his objective and visions. Determination has actually inspired me. So back then in Nha Trang, Vietnam, we conceptualized an underground brewery for him. And for Dan, we briefly wished someday he would love to establish one here in Malaysia. So with a local specific criteria, at the same time in mind, and then to be more. You know what? So he did it. And we shared a common goal and patiently waited until the opportunities came into picture. So this site is in Bamboo Hill. It was a spot on. This collective and current development is a hip and modern dining destination. This is the tap room. It's one of the 10 dining spots. This one is the zinc site, which is an elevated steel frame glass surrounded by man-made marble, lush greeneries. And there's a little diagram of the site, which the transparency of the 24-degree allows us to connect with the surrounding. Of the site, briefly, we have very good heights, even though it's a pitch roof with a deep overhang, magnificent view. However, we need to address the heat itself. South-facing, water features, a seat experience continues here, which is in clarity and transition of spaces that which we could create eventually. From here, your happiness is served from taps. Taps rooms basically is a gastropub itself. The design is an orchestra of poetry. It is about many stories to be shared. So it's an art expression as well, same time, a brewery experience. The brief challenges the creativities of rethinking interiors architecture. So with the spaces that pretty engaging, with kind of like unique combinations that brings the best food and beverages together. So here, anyone like feng shui? Okay. The quality of design emphasizes on these multiple experiences, which to be seen as one through a radial organization. It's a kind of like feng shui qua that we established. So where the little main bar takes the lead itself. So in resulting, the content is a conglomerate of experience. So pretty unique mix of microbrewery, dining, and an entertainment establishment. So the experience at the arrival, it's all about the anticipations and memory that matters in our design. Here, at the arrival, was greeted by an open vestibule. This emphasis is to acknowledge the one-of-a-kind theoretical microbrewery experience center as the sort of like a key unifying element and a single focal point the moment when you step into tap room. And on the left, greeted the Neapolitan's pizza, which is a modern twist of open kitchen, highlights features of a custom Stefano Ferrara oven. So the impacts at our arrival, it's remarks of visuals and aroma. On the right itself is the brewery tour, displays on an actual microbrewery setup, which is for the purpose of knowledge sharing by the lead brewers. Above, that you can see here, right above this deck here, further sort of like enhance the curiosity for diners to actually walk up to this steel platform, where the displays continues of the breweries, to embrace the space itself. So here, the diners get to view the entire space freely. Likewise here as well, this is one of the night mood. The natural warm palette, aged coppers and burnt masculine tones of the interior takes inspirations from the 70s as such breweries are perceived as an emphasis on enthusiasms, kind of like current white that we're building, and varied fusions of dining experience being curated. Center of the space, this is the main bar, overlooking the outdoor yard with an integrated retaining water feature. The scale, we want an atmosphere that's spacious, airy, at the same time comfortable meets contemporary vibe. Here, we have the interiors that create connections by capturing the potential for architectural context between the natural light, the view, surrounding dramas of the water feature, which you can see outside here. At the same time, undulating contours, the sense of sanctuary provided by the lush greens. So this cantilever here, if anyone were to remember Titanic, yeah, this is actually a cliff jumping inspired, so especially designed for DJ and soundman for that purpose, where it's facing the stage itself. Okay, in addition, features an elevated live stage semi-open kitchen, 1 ticket for 2 shows. So we have the live stage here, we have a live kitchen here. So this provides an interactive and memorable dining experience which we want to create. And there onwards, the outdoor yard is another set of experiences for those who love outdoor. Then the essence of space is the natural light. So until sunset is one of the key materials replaced by the programmed ambience lighting. So when it's dark, the space reflects warm lights to the surfaces. This is one of our desire moments. Enjoy. Snowflake's Tea House. The idea inspired by nature and the whole brainstorm process, the bone, it's all came from snowflakes, basically. The creations of the Snowflake's Tea House, our client and their team took a solid 7 years to develop this concept. This is the founder objective. Here we emphasize the experiencing, the creations, even before patron steps in. Until the end, it's about the notion. Okay, the site is an existing snowflake where we repurpose and expand to 2 floors. So it's not a standalone site, however. It fits in a dense urban environment instead of green. Typical shop lots configuration in Malaysia, I hope some architects will help us in the future. Our shop lots are typically long, narrow, and towards the ends, the party wall are pretty dark. So we need to learn to do some magics here and beyond. Okay. From here, the founder's commitment, the core ideas of snowflakes is snow remains intact, which drive the brand visions and missions since 2009. So this is, S stands for simple. Simple, it's about delights from all. Natural is about bringing the best out of nature. Origins is about the singles of ingredients. Wholesome is about the experience itself. So this is a little diagram that we explore. The criteria of the tea house is a platform to showcase what Snowflakes believes in. An expression of their products, basically it's about the value in inventions. This experience here, we designed for this project, illustrates how we connect human and to outside. Here, we want to have a dialogue with the natural lights. To connect to the outside, so we begin to explore the architectural volume itself. One of Corbusier principles that I learned, when space are raised in order to bring natural lights in and through. Eventually, the natural lights becomes our materials as whole until sunset. So the number 1 diagram is a typical block itself. Number 2, where we widen and so the tall windows are being created to bring in natural lights deep into the interior itself. Diagram number 3 is where we hatch yellow, extraction of selected solid planes and light and mass. So the void space allowed the lights to travel in different directions and freely, sort of like promoting a vertical physical connection and visuals. Same time, basically, we wanted an extension of nature into the spaces. This is a facade configuration. We believe architecture is an extension of an interior or vice versa. So where you'll find how interior volume shapes the window and frame the view. And ground floor, the transparency suggests a dialogue and message. Our vertical vegetation and opposite buildings on the left create a softness and natural lights that is preserved. This is the quality of intentional vertical spaces. Okay. Proposed diagram. In the tea house, we have started to thinking of patrons and how we would like them to connect through cloud sitting organization. So we provide 7 solutions. Diagram number 1 and 2 demonstrates the idea of a cloud blocks. Those blocks represent the loose furniture itself. Is that you can actually move them around where applicable to suit your preference. Things like spending times at the tea house. We program the common space for different locations and purposes. So their visits for indulgence, we're also looking at returning home, a me time, at the same time, for learning, for meeting, for leisure, etc., and all that are being in place. The idea is to resolve the interior needs to be not only in its times, but also to anticipate the future. So a flight leads you up to level 1, the tunnel or walk as the focal point. As we arrived at the level 1, the experience of our space contract and expands. This space where space and light will move your spirits. Its program describes a spatial quality, looking at the flexibility rather than space. This tunnel wall ceiling is inspired by the finger heart, derived from snowflake true hearts, which makes the tea brewing force for good and worthy towards a sustainable lifestyle. So it's also about acoustic control, and likewise, our choice of material base are predominantly sustainable in its nature. Having this various program is important because they offer a different set of experience, option, and so privacy. So the wall is finished with texture surfaces and all around for the purpose of aesthetics and acoustic control. So nature is always brought in. So if we want to blur the barriers, just ignore whatever outside. Just look at the natural light. To achieve the design in plain sense, which we emphasize in the horizon itself. Reinventing an experience sort of like portray our thinking. The reasonings of our work, it's about authenticity. Context-driven approach, which is rather than style, thematic, which we disliked. Next project is Illumine. The idea is about usual, unusual. Okay, we have this Mr. DR that came to us and said, I want you to design for us Asia's first decentralized lounge celebrating and empowering NFT artists. I said, what is this? So it sounds common to me, but unusual at the same time. So the next thing is, I'm like others. So we all went pitch black. So I'm just like a little layman on the street with puzzle. So there's nothing in our mind. How we learn to reinvent an experience is by untangling a little fragment by fragment. So changing the way I see, changing the way how we address things according to the specific circumstances. So for a reason. So there onwards, we start off with the clue. By looking at it, the good thing is it's endless clue. It tells us many, many more. So it's about research, assessments, finding the best solution for this particular projects. So went through a series of dialogues with the client. We begin to understand who they are, the positioning, customer profiles, and criteria. To sum up, in short, is B. B stands for Business Entertainment Establishment. Can you say club? Just call it club. So nothing funky, as simple as that. So the site in between where it's about is located within the neighborhood mall in KL. However, this site was given to us a basement parking lot. So this sets of skeleton needed the bone, the organs, the vein, the flesh, the muscles. We asked why in the basement, and completely opposite to the brief. However, in my mind, it started to make sense because in line with the brief and the more future expansion, in plain sense, it's a destination establishment. So no doubts, no worries. So no doubt in isolation. However, its personalized space can be engaging. So clue number 2, the logo design. These are the members' identity, and they are limited to 188 members only. Obviously, 188 is a very auspicious number. So you have the rare epics and legendary are limited to 10s only. The logo design is telling us something. So we fragmentize this symbol. Aura, glow, is a rise. The 9 is everlasting. Pyramid is the triangle is a fire itself. In summary, these are the creative spirits of universe. So the design begins with, we imagine we travel into the universe. So a black space to be filled. And here onwards, we begin our design and start painting in black space. So we consolidate the planet, the star galaxy, aliens, and all other forms of energy, inspiring us in Illuminati concepts and bring them back to Earth. Right, and same time, we learn and explore the new language in AI scripting. I think many have been doing that. So one of the examples we picked that inspired us is, and pretty resonate with our concept, it's this digital painting of an astronaut in space. Back then, 20, 30, 40 years ago, similar to our past, we learned from a conventional perspective. It's basically mind mapping strategy, except slightly digital, slightly fancy AI terms. Okay. This is a slide of how we, a little diagram expressing the planning. So we have the public gallery on this side, the I9 NFT gallery. We have the Illuminati, which is the member lounge, a semi-public space. We have the private space, which consists of 3 alien eggs. Those gaps are gallery spaces to be filled. These are all private owner, which they will showcase and present their collections in the public, which is privately owned. Click to illuminate space black. Our design from the exterior and interior skin exhibit a continuous space black. This acts as an integrating elements of different spaces. So lights within our space, black as a core material. So expressing the sensations of light are carefully designed by deploying necessary amount of lights to justify an ambience. So you can see these little touches here that we have is actually a solar eclipse inspired pattern. The private parking area for the VIPs. This one here is the I9 NFT gallery, an interaction space designed for auctions and presentation we call the dark hole. So the digital NFT artwork here, display here is a star itself. Then Illuminati Live, space back, space continue here. You'll find planets, aliens, and energy all over. This space is about how we build togetherness. So creation, sort of like freedoms we're looking at, celebrations, which on openness and encourage this sort of visual and physical interactions. When you're tipsy, you find freedoms in this space often. So this is a blockchain-inspired features in scented champagne. We have the restrooms that promotes intimacy. This is the VIP entrance. It's the 3S, the sun, the stars, and supernova. So the sun tunnel, the entrance to the sun is something unique. At the same time, it can't be replaced because it's a designated light. So as you travel in, this is a sun tunnel. So the creative spirits are composed in the triangle geometry in the mirror, textures to promote the sort of illusions and confusion even before you're drunk. So the VIP private gallery and KTV lounge is about the stars. It's again an experience they imagine in other galaxies, experiencing a sort of explosion in star. So then we go through, when something related to NFT developments and also consumer often relate futuristics and high-tech interiors when the content is digitally related. So however, in our design, as a result, when an interior is related to technology, it is not necessary to employ overly dressed technological innovation as the main itself. Instead, we pursued a design whenever appropriate only to achieve a desired impact. So this alternative display solution suggesting an appreciation of digital art and entertainment propositions in an unusual yet familiar manner. So there's always something behind the wall. We want the patron to experience both consumer and mystery. This is the KTV room design. This is our supernova. The culture here we like to promote is curiosity, not intimidations. Do we all agree beautiful things attracts beautiful beings? Yeah. Shin Labo, the transcendental experience. The project is located in Lalaport, tucked in the prime corner and facing the main street. The site was previously a part of the infamous Pudu jail. It was built in the 1890s on a 10-hectare site. After the prison was uninhabited in 1996, it was reopened to public and became the first prison in Asia to open for public visit. So eventually the government decided to demolish it in the phases to make space for the new development. The prison's complex was completely demolished by December 2012, remaining only the main gates and a portion of the exterior preserved at the request of a heritage conservationist. This project is unique. When you are in Shin Labo, it's the only reason you put away your phone, other than taking nice photo. What inspired Shin Labo design? The chef explained each soul. When the transcendental dining experience is ingenious, it's about the spiritual realm where what fulfills their heart and soul. And we carefully designed the space by looking at and invite you to experience these little juxtapositions of French techniques and Japanese produce. So the dialogue is between fine dining and art. I make choices. Our interior should serve art. The art of experiencing is about the layerings of how we put the experience together. The art of dining origins from natures to table. The art of dialogues is about storytellings and sharing. The art of framing the moment is about the togetherness. The restaurant facade design is a bold minimum with a well-lit amber gradient, textures across the concrete. The entrance, we peel the skin, suggesting a little curiosity and drawing passerbys to peep in intentionally. Shin Lounge is designed to evoke intimacy without crowding it. It is about individuality. So the characteristics of this space is Labo inspired. So Labo is French and Japanese has the same meaning. So it means laboratory in English. Laboratory elements are elaborate through our sculptural lightings and the lab cabinets, complete with the landscape in Japan mountains, form and texture. Opposite Shin Lounge is the Maison du Caviar Cap-Spanier, a luxe interactive caviar bar and lounge. The design is about two geometry, a spheres, caviar form, and a gloss, and also cuboid satin surfaces. Shin Kapo is a dramatic dining theater. It's about encouraging culture to suspend their disbelief. So it's about giving power to the truth, so to advocate for new and diverse art dining experience. The layout promotes an endless dialogues between the chef and diners. The ceiling patterns represent the wave. In Japanese, we call it Sigaiha. A different hour with concentrated arches. In the same time, it evokes the calmness and also quietness in the sea. Rogue Chef table is the first and only in Asia, and it's about the exclusivity of state of mind. The private room is designed to provide a private in line with the exclusiveness and intimate, personalized dining experience. The functional layout, amoeba form, is not necessarily rigid. That's something that will tell me the interior characteristics is enriched with a brand identity and experience, goes beyond the aesthetics of the space. In summary, Shin Labo creates an access limited in its nature, yet desirable to play for exclusivity. It's about the art and only for you. Beyond interior design, I have two hobbies dear to me, designing architecture and cycling. So I took up these hobbies and turned them into my life, part of my life, and now and future. The realization of getting back to what I love is through a series of manifestations of experience. First one, designing architecture. When I was surrounded by good architects at my early age, and now, he has a huge influence on me. I respect architecture and love its complexity, and in context, which I perceive interior architecture as one. It's about experiencing. Number two, today I'm a cyclist and a collector. I love the history, the movements, the reason of their existence and value due to the revolutions because they were developed for specific reasons. Okay, here we have two petite buildings. One on the left is Asia Travel Mart. The idea is about a little about roly-poly, the Volvations concept, which has self-defense quality in it. The criteria here is, from this client is, I want attentions, give it to me. And meantime, on the right, it's a PNC, nothing confidential, as our friend there, that we have to sign the NDA. The idea is about a face that no one would pay attention to. Let's talk about PNC. Okay, the name PNC is pretty cheeky because PNC doesn't stand for private and confidential. Instead, it's a pussy and cock. A face that no one would pay attention to. So PNC basically is a speakeasy bar. It allows you to experience the spirits of the Prohibition era in America. When PK came to us with the criteria, we don't need any attentions. Basically, I don't want you to know where I am. And doesn't that sound easy and fascinating? Perfect, that makes our life very, very easy. Okay, here's the site, an aerial view itself. Similar to an urban fabrics with snowflakes, however, it's on an empty piece of land right behind a commercial shop lot. We love the trees, so we preserve the trees in green. One benefits from a self-market content-driven, you do not require a lot of features to sell. So our ideas for architecture it's about no-face facades and uninviting. So hence, a steel sheet of piling that came into pictures. In nature, this material itself, it's a form of structure and it's proven applications for robust and property. We want it to age and express the beautiful patina, just like an aged whiskey. There you go. From the street level, a face that no one would pay attention to. The door, windowless, and no fancy lines. Everything focuses behind the facade itself. Look closer. Okay, so look at it. Any one of you plan to visit this place? So, not worth a visit at all, I think. So in our client eyes, this is fascinating. But in our eyes, we see structural honesty in design. So what drew the patrons? It was the content. The ideas of speaking from inside out make us realize that it was quite meaningful. The inside, our cocktail bar interior, that has all the troops that evokes the spirits of Prohibition era in America. The environment just needs to be a bit more cozy, relaxing, friendly with a jazz tune playing in the background. Obviously, there's someone there to lift up your spirits. House 238. The idea is about the horizons. Beyond the hills, of a place called Country Heights, Damansara. It's about the dialogues created between the owner with the valley, green fabric, and private lives. So when we designed the house on the hill, it became an idea. It's about the horizontal stories and emotions that we try to create here in the design. So the residential interior architectural design is about one person, independent. He's a DC fan and a car collector. The simplicity of the project is, I think if SL love it, is good enough. So we twist our thought. When we're designing a private home, we may influence emotion, however, don't get emotionally driven. So same as the stories behind the Batman Who Laughs. The site is a cascading landscape, and the effects of slope changes the form, where the voids became dominant and directional. This is a view overlooking the valley. The whole idea is horizons with the skies above and greens below. And we imagine we get the edge, our view, we expand, in exchange the language, the landscape itself becomes part of the interior. So it's about the spiritual experience, and that automatically provides calmness and personal room for the client. This project is very closely related to this painting by Bernard Newman, the title of Horizons Light, rather infinite, I would imagine. The exploded diagram, when the owner agreed that the valley is the focus of our vista, the private spaces are aligned and through a series of frames, always looking directly ahead to the valley. The point is when we design, it's about the context. Even little details matters. The house planning automatically reflects the idea where selected accommodations are laid and enable us to maximize the experience. The house is actually under construction. This is northwest, a facade remains unpredictable. The feelings of this house is one of satisfaction. Coming home, it's like moving through spaces in a wonderful experience as a way to imagine how I would like people to move through spaces since day one until now. The design draws on the arrival as you wish to discover beyond. The anticipation is always about the layering. We create a different series of gallery spaces for the client, and what left most is memories. It's about the experience itself. So from here, we have the southwest facade. I love to find balance between indoor and outdoor, and we create a very generous space that which connects well to the external space, and the space beyond, that is the valley itself. The interior somewhat observe what's happening on the outside, feels as if it's indoor and outside seamlessly connected. Again, lights, is one of the most essential materials, either from nature or artificial lights, which provide us information. The combination of lights void is exciting. So used in different ways, our void spaces are about connections where we use it generously. So the architecture isn't about beautiful pictures, it's about contemporary lives. So can't wait for it to see it comes up by end of next year. Okay, another hobby, Swofinty bicycle. The idea is about listening to the best. As a cyclist and collector myself, I believe a journey of 1,000 adventures begin with the first pedal. Likewise, our work, our life, a sense of motivation, etc., that we want to bring, and how we want to shape our life, that matters. You got to move forward. But if you have doubt, step back and move forward again. This result is our action, with actions reinventing its purposes. This is me on my bike that I designed. Well, it doesn't look good. It looks torturing, but that's my happy moment. I want you to know, when my mind, my body, and bike are one, equal freedom. It's like, imagine that you're gliding, as if they're on the air itself, but as if, at the same time you're on the floor. So that's a totally different experience. And you get to see things more up close and personal on bike as opposed to driving, motorbikes, and flying. So here, I love cycling and I love to learn from hundreds of brands, builders, and friends. This allowed me to understand the reasons, their movements, and learn the histories of evolutions of bicycles designed since early 1800. This is a little dandy horse invented. His name is Laus Machina. In German, it means running machine. I find these constant evolutions of reinventing the wheel inspired me of my thinking a lot. I've designed two types of bicycle, one of which is a fin, folding bicycle, and the Swofinty is a mini velo. It comes with foldable options as well. Today, I would like to talk about Swofinty bicycle. Right. The design begins in my wife's kitchen during pandemic. When I took her satay stick and I started to making prototypes. You know, you're so free at home, right? So, and you're thinking of something, why not make use of it? At the same time, you can talk to her. So the conception of prototype design is a mixture of curiosity and pleasure. So to us, design is a process of making art and a lively journey for discovery, evolved through times and evolutions. I want to do this because I want to continue learning design from a different perspective. It is important to learn the fundamental physical law, which influence my design, not only products, architectures, and interior. Next steps, I head to the drawing board, building the jigs, geometry, angle precision, collaborations, and fabrications begins thereafter. The idea of Swofinty bicycle basically is a renewed appreciation of a bicycle as a piece of art. So this is a functional piece of art. And for those who are seeking an unusual addition of the bike, call me. So I designed for riding on the road efficiently, which I learned, specifically focused on the precision, so responsive handling, at the same time aesthetics and nimbleness in mind. So this radical hand-braced geometry consists of two structural principles. The bridge is the arc form, spaced the combinations of multiple diamonds. The seat post structure is a cosmodrome. I love Elon Musk, and it's sort of like AKA rocket launcher inspired. If you can see the little details actually detached from the BB itself. It's something daring, and a guy who weighs 135 kg is actually flexing. So it's a bit of an experimental, but however, the design looks complex, somewhat understated. The advantage of these integrations are lighter in its geometry and looks pretty fancy, significantly stronger and stiffer, that equivalent to the design, what makes it more, as opposed to the conventional, traditional method. So again, comfort is an offset of a unique suspension. We have the front, we have the back, okay, to provide comforts that, because Malaysia, right? A lot of lubang, correct here, correct there, right? So this is a medium to help to reduce the road imperfections and increase safety as well, because if you give you that, lessen your numbness and so on. So the metaphor of the design is like a little lighthouse, and the ride quality is something special that allows me to navigate through the journey. I believe this bike offers an enduring alternative, optimal pleasure, which I find, a wonderful experience, and complete with surprises. Our message is about who we are and what we believe in. In design, there's a lot of solutions in different ways, nothing right or wrong. So, because they're built through dialogues in relations to the context, that explains our understanding. It's all defined in the context that we experience along the way. When we design this architecture's interior for this restaurant, both relationship and discoveries of developments were never in isolation, because it has to be a collective manner, because it's about relationship. Our design somehow represents our thought, exists for reasons, and there is one thing in common in our design is freedom in contemporary. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, interior designer Swofinty, for your insight on your projects. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, accumulate them. And I believe you have scanned the QR code just now. If you can display the QR code once again for the question and answer session later, you can post your questions there or ask them verbally later in the evening, all right?